Hello everyone, this is PerfectManus and today we'll be focusing on how to create a mouse in Maya using curves. So for main we'll be importing our view images in viewport by either pressing on this menu, okay, or simply pressing on spacebar. You can see that all four menus are visible. So for this tutorial, we have only top view, bottom view, and side view. So we have side view, we have top view, but here we don't have the front view, we have the bottom view. So simply going into the panels, in the panel, you can select, see, here you don't have any bottom view. So by clicking here, your bottom view appears. Now this is your perspective view, okay? So focusing on your top view first, by click on view, image plane, import image, and in the document I have set it here as the top view. Okay, so here we got the top view. By pressing F, it will be focused completely. For the side view, similarly again, view image plane, import image, and the reference as side. Okay, here we have to rotate this, so just do it right now instead of doing it later on. So it is also done for the top view. Okay, you have to focus again onto importing your image from your top view, sorry, in the bottom view. This is your bottom view panel, so you have to import your bottom view. Okay, it's visible right now, but while you're seeing it into your this menu, okay, in bottom you will also see your top view and your bottom is not clear. Let's first move this a little back, okay, so you don't get in the way. From your top view, just make sure that it's go below, okay, and for your bottom view, you see that I'm clicking your, okay, just renaming it as top, side, bottom. Okay, here you can see that while I click on bottom, in that perspective view, I cannot see that where my bottom view is, right? For that, just simply press F. You will see that your image is somewhere here. Okay, so this is your bottom camera. Okay, your image got placed on right top of it, but your main plane is there. Okay, really in top. So you click on this image, your bottom image, you need to move it onto that distance. Okay, here your translation seems something else, so you click here, you press 0, and it will be moved here by going in your perspective view. You can set it a little bit up. Okay, now if you start working here, you'll find it really hard that all these images get in each other's way, and also these are not aligned. You can see that here the wire is in both of these images, your wires in this way, and for this image your wires in the back, so you have to rotate this one. Okay, you rotate it. Okay, it's done, and from here onwards you have to model this one. Okay, but again the same issue. While you're looking at it, you will see that from the bottom of your top view, these images can get a little bit more hard to see while you're working, and continuously you have to watch in perspective view. So simply click on each image by going in Attribute Editor. In its menu bottom shape, there is an option called Display Looking Through Camera. Right now it's visible in all views. You have to click on this one and it will disappear in your perspective view because it will only be visible from your bottom view. Okay, but this image is visible from all planes. Your bottom view image was up straight and your camera is in the bottom, so that's why it's capturing this one right now. So we will do the same for this one. It will only be visible from top. See here, from bottom camera you won't be able to see your top image. It will only see your bottom view image. Okay, and from top view camera you can only see your top view. In perspective view you won't be able to see those images, and for the side view you'll do the same. Just make sure that it's correctly selected in that camera. By default that will be fixed because in that menu you have imported these, but still just in case just check those images. Okay, here you won't be able to see this, but still I'm able to click on these one before I make them unclickable. Okay, I have to make sure that they are properly aligned and they are of same size. So simply I will be taking a polygon cube. I will go into your wireframe mode. Okay, either you can press 4 to go in the wireframe mode and 5 to go into your object mode. Okay, shading mode and wireframe mode. So by pressing 4, or you press this one, you press R and you resize it to something like this. Okay, you simply need a border measurement for this one. So by right clicking here on your vertices menu, you can see that from here, okay, your mouse is this much. Okay, from this view again press 4. For this one also press 4. Here you need to make sure that it's in the same range. So while you set it onto this one's border, it should be set it at this image border, but you can see that it's not really the case and your image is not exactly aligned in the center, right? So you move it a little bit, so make sure that it's correctly in the center. See, just remember that from all viewport your images want 100% aligned, and these images are taken by a perspective view, a camera which has some focal length, and we don't know right now at what focal length it have. So also while we will be modeling it, your model won't exactly match your reference from every side, so you have to consider that also. Again, to see if it's properly aligned, okay, onto the front and back part it's aligned, right? It's of the same size as this one and this one, but from the size is not actually so. We won't be reducing its size. We can understand that it's similar to these sizes, but due to perspective angle issues, that top view is seen to be spread it out. Okay, now you don't need this one. You can see that it's properly aligned now. Just simply delete it. Okay, and we have to make sure that these images are not what we say clickable, because in between if I want to get some menu it's hard for me to get. So by going into your channel box or layer editor, in the display there's a layer and create layer from selected. Okay, this layer will be selected. You simply press here until it's shown as R. Now these images are not clickable. Okay, so you won't by mistake click on them and have that same issue which we were arising. From here onwards you will select on create you go on curve tools and clicking on this extra area, this menu will pop out. From here onwards, you have to make sure just rename this, okay, preferences, okay. From here, we'll be working with either of these curves, but to connect the edges, your AB curves work best, okay. So from here, we'll be just seeing your setting, okay. Everything is as it was, nothing is changed. By pressing here, you start uh, making those curves, okay. You have to follow it in one axis, but you can also watch in another axis. So for this one, I'll be focusing more on your top and your side view because this is the one I'll be creating first, okay. So by simply clicking here, it will be into your two view mode. So for here, I need your side view, right view, okay. And for here, by keep holding your space and your right click, you will see these options and it will be from top view, okay. So here, you need to make sure that they are clickable again because you need to focus them in. Now again, make them unclickable. Your we are choosing a EP curve and from the starting, okay, from this area you can start molding, or from this area you can start molding. So I will focus more on the top view because I need to follow these curves and I need those many points. Instead of creating them later on, we'll be focusing on creating those right now, okay. You can see that they are going out, but it's fine, we'll be fixing them. So just simply follow the more outer edges, okay. But we could have worked in this one and this one also by moving them up, but it's fine. We'll be working slow and steady and focusing on our result, okay. So it's done till here. You press Q, okay. Now by pressing on control vertices, you start moving them up, okay. So by pressing B, it will enable your self selection. By keep pressing B and your middle click and dragging it will increase the area of effect. Now we will be moving them up till it's there. So as it's a curve, we don't be moving them too much because while you move another points beside it, they will also shift that one, okay. So you can see if even if I disable the area selection or your soft selection, when I move it up, it will also affect your this area. So here I'll be slowly aligning them with other ones, okay, and I will fix them. Well, we keep doing it, okay. With something like this, we need to make sure that it's smooth curved instead of something like this one, okay. Just move those points there because your points will be followed if your other points are correctly aligned, okay. These three we need more straightened up. It can still be in some way a little bit curved, but while doing so we have to make sure that at least this one is aligned, okay. Okay, so this is finished for your straight view. Now you need to follow your bottom view or your top view. So we are working on this part right now. We'll be simply focusing on this one. Okay, but now instead of your top view, we'll be moving on to your bottom view. So again, your space bar and your right click hold bottom view. Okay, you don't need these parts. See here, you'll see that those areas outside because of the camera view perspective. Okay, again, the same thing we'll be doing. We're following these lines. Okay, you can either work on them later, but I prefer to fix them if I don't see it to be that much time consumable, because here we won't be moving these points up or down. They are made in a single straight line. It's curved from bottom view, but from your side view it will be straight because your mouse base will be straight, which is attached or which is in contact with the surface. Okay, from here we'll be just smoothing it out a little bit more. So it should be something like this. We are able to move this in another axes because it's only curved from bottom, it's not curved from the side, so we don't have to think a lot about what if we shift it in another axis. But only the axis it can follow is your side ones, and those are straight. So it's somewhat created as smooth controls. Okay, here you can see that those curves are followed. Okay, and by pressing Q, object view, move it to the bottom. Okay, you can see that its mouse bottom is not shown visible as straight because of that perspective, your focal length of the camera from where they have selected those images. So now by going in your perspective, you can see that your mouse, this area is made. Okay, so from here, either we can start connecting. So to connect these, we need to make sure that we select a curve tool, that will be EP. Okay, and in the curves, in the surfaces, you have this Birail option. Okay, so we'll be working on the second one. By going here, I will be explaining you what will happen when you apply these settings. Okay, so basically the first rail and second rail, these two are called as rails. Okay, why do you need it? Because they will be getting connected, and to connect those there will be few edges or by rail, okay, on these two edges to connect these points. Okay, because while we are trying to fill these, we need two things, that is it should be closed. Okay, and basically they need it as a four sides, and both of these rails should have equal number of divisions. But while we were just creating them in our leisure, we use 21 points for this one. Okay, those are called as spans, and for this one we have taken 19, so they are not equal. And while trying to create, so can cause issue. Okay, so to fix those things, we make sure that we come on these settings and they will fix this. Okay, so from here, if we first rail, let's say this one is first rail, this one is second rail. Okay, and then you decide how many spans they will have. Okay, let's say the highest one, that was 21, but we need even. I prefer even, because while we create its base, we try to fill it, that will be much easier to create. Okay, so by taking as 20 or 21, it's on you. Okay, before applying, you select on uniform, because it should be uniform distance. It should be as smooth as possible. We are not trying to create nerves, we are trying to create polygons. So select this one, and we don't need your shapes to be triangular meshes. It should be in a quad shape, so that's why your quad is selected. The method for which we'll be creating to fill these layers or fill these two rails is your general, because in general we will be getting your number of U and number of V's. Okay, maybe I said it in the opposite view. It totally depends on the type you have selected first. So if you select this one first, it will be your U, V. If you selected these two curves first, then it will be your U and V. Okay, this will be basically our control panel to create it. Right now we have set it as 3, that is your default value. After we'll be doing it something like 20 for these number of divisions to match your those points. Okay, so before we apply this, just minimize it, it will be here. Okay, click on any one curve, and you need to click on this one. Basically we need to join these two curves, not exactly joining, but yeah, there will be few sides which is connecting those. So by clicking on this one, your attached to the curves is enabled. Now you need to keep pressing on C while you click on this rail. Okay, see, by going to the edges you can leave it, and again doing so by holding C and click, these get selected. Okay, here we can see these ones as it has some value. By pressing Q and going to the control vertex, you can move them to create it a little bit like curve. Okay, the kind of mouse that gets created. Okay, and similarly for the back part, we do the same by pressing on any one type of curve, EP curve tool, by holding a C. Make sure that you enable this one. Okay, pressing C and holding it and clicking your left mouse button and leaving it, and again holding a C, your left mouse button, and that will be created. By pressing Q, this will be in the object mode. By pressing F here, you'll be focusing on the back part. Okay, by pressing on your control vertex, you can give it a smooth curve instead of creating it in that harsh way. Okay, it should be something like this one, I guess, because the bottom part is not that curved as compared to the top one. See, so I guess this can work. From here out onwards, you will use those birails. Okay, to create those birails, you simply, now after selecting on those settings, you apply these. You have selected this one, you select the opposite one, you select this one and this one, and it gets created. Okay, see, now that you need to make sure that it gets filled, just press 5 to see it in your shaded view. Okay, it only got 3 points for division. you go in your channel box, and this is the nose tesselation which we have applied. From here in the setting you can increase the divisions. We said it will be 20, so simply tap 20 here, and this will be created. So here we don't have that many details in the side view, so we don't give it that many divisions, but still, to create something like square shape, we give it to 5 number of divisions. Okay, so 5 edges. And now that this one is created, you can simply do two things. First, you don't want to see it or click it again and again, so you create a layer for this one, and that layer will be called as mesh. Okay, because it's creating your mouse mesh. You can either apply it as invisible, or you can make sure that it's not clickable. See, for this layer we have applied, we didn't name it, maybe I press back and it got to the default one. So just rename this reference and save it. Okay, so here onwards we have to continue modeling the same thing on the upside. Okay, we don't need to work here right now because the top view can be handled after, or we can just go in your top view from here. Okay, and focus on creating this one continuously. This is your bottom view, so don't just, it's okay. Okay, if it's get selected, either you can make it as unselected also. This will be your curve. You start adding curves here after your work is done with them. Okay, you don't need to click on the bottom one. Even if this one gets selected, it's fine. Okay, now minimize it. We'll be using it again and again. So for now we need to follow these line. Okay, this line aggregate that is here. Okay, so just create a copy of it by pressing on Ctrl D, moving it up. Okay, and from here onwards start working on these ones again. This really focusing here after we fix this one. Okay, so this is the line which will be following. It's hard to see on this one. It happens. See, here it's also not matching, but what we can do here is we can move it a little in the back and just think that's getting somewhere around here selected, to make sure that these points get properly aligned on this border, because we have to create another gap here. for this line and this line, and here we will be creating a copy again for this one. That will be onto the same location but a little bit different. Okay, I guess it's done from the side view. Okay, and from this view, see, either I will be focusing on creating this part that I'm not really sure is the exact correct choice. So here I will be doing one more thing. We can make sure that this is visible in all views, okay, or just in the bottom view. Come in your bottom view and start working on this one. Okay, from here you can see that it's visible on both of the sides, but from the top view it was much harder to see on this angle. So sometimes it happens it's matching with your top view. Okay, right now it's in the way because there is one more thing. You need to make sure that this is visible in all axes. Okay, you pull it up. Okay, and you make sure that your bottom view is a little bit more up, so the top view is visible from bottom also. Okay, now you don't need to see the mesh there. Mesh is getting in our way. It was harder for us to see. Okay, you can fix it by simply removing those from the view. In the top view you will see this. While you come in the top view, okay, that thick area, now I can understand what it is this part. Okay, you don't need this one right now, your mesh, so simply disable its viewport. Now see, it's so much clearer. You can create its copy and you can move it a little bit up. Okay, it have a little bit of gap, so I guess it can move just a little bit more down. Now we need to connect these two, but before so we have to fix it from the top part also. See, this is the thing I was saying. You need to make sure that the reference is unclickable or it can get in our way to select those menus. From here, see, the part we have guessed should be more in the back. This kind of connect. Maybe it's not matching in your view here in the side view. But sometimes it does, even though it's not as perfect. But we try to create this as perfect as possible. Okay, we need to go on this way only because if you go in the back, that can create issue here. Okay, so simply by coming here, we can see that a lot of our shape is getting better. See, this is the thing I was saying. When you move the other one, it will also affect all curves near it. Okay, so that can create something like those shapes. Just simply put them near the line so that you can fix them after it. In the starting, you just need them as near as possible. So every little move don't change whole shape. Okay. From here, you can take a guess, or you can just simply align something like this. So it will leave your points as close as possible. Okay, but I prefer it to be a little more straight toward here because straighten when your that click part is there. Okay, I'm not saying that's exactly really good, but it's something you can work with. Now from here, the steps will be same. You need to make sure that these two are connected. Okay, by going in the object view, these and this get connected. So the similar thing, click on EP, hold your C and your left mouse button, and this one, hold C and your left mouse button, press Q. You can see that it's more like straight, or you can edit them as per your choice. Okay, it's more like this, just a little curve, not too much. Similarly from the back side also, you click on the curve, hold C, left mouse click button, and do this one. Okay, by pressing Q and your control vertex, you make those curves more like this. Okay, that yes, it's something which starts moving a lot more in this shape, right? So again, the same thing, go on this option, apply, click on the side ones first, then a top one and your bottom one, and these gets selected. Okay, from here again, it's 20 divisions we are following, and here you don't need to increase it. I guess one is more than enough to create something like this. Okay, from here you simply select on this one your mesh, you import it there. Okay, add selected object, so it's not visible now, and all of this is created. You don't need to see these curves now. So in the curves menu, select this one and add selected curves. You make sure that they don't get selected. Okay, now we'll be working purely on this one and the top one we create. Okay, so from here in the curves you add this selected, so their work is done. If you want to see your mesh you have created, this is the one. Okay, you can simply select on this one. Okay, and smoothen them to see how they looks. Okay, I guess it looks more in the mouse shape. Okay, so again, make them unclickable. We don't need to see them. We'll be only working on this one, so keep other curves invisible if you want, so it won't create any distraction. Okay, you need to make its copy again because the top one is a little bit different. So click on this one, Control D, move them up just a little bit because they don't have that much gap from here. Okay, but in the front one it have a lot of gap because those clicks are created there. The shape is same. You don't need to follow it from the top view now. Okay, the curve is created. Now you don't even need this one. Okay, this one. So add it into your curve menu and it's get invisible again. This is the one we'll be working with and the top one. So to create this, let's work with back because back is much more curved. We don't need to work a lot here, but we need to guess the shape a little bit because in the end you can see that it's a lot in the back. It's not ended here because we are creating this based on considering that it's in your perspective or is created or it's clicked with some focal length of your camera. So here you have to take a guess again. Okay, and just keep checking your basic shape. If you even change it until you delete the histories, your curves can control those meshes. Okay, so from here we'll be creating that EP curve. Okay, it's something I'm taking a guess right now because in the side menu it's not that much visible. Here it's causing issue because I've put it too near to the shape, right? And it wants to go down. So just make sure when you are creating something like this, okay, it's get connected. It's not as smooth right now. We can add few divisions here to create it a little bit more sharper, but I'm leaving it as soft right now because the shape we will be creating these layers there also. By pressing Q, go and control vertices, you can now smoothen this up, okay? As I've said, these curves are a lot. Okay, so even after taking a guess, I guess there still needs to be something done to create it more curve-like, something like that one. Mhm. So I guess this one is done. From here, we can see that it's not as smooth, but still we are trying to create something like that. Okay. Here, we only have two sides, so we need to cut your either of these ones. Okay. So we want to create something as in this shape. That's why I will focus more on keeping cut here. So clicking on that curve and click on curve point to select a point, you get here and you detach it. Okay. Similarly from the back part, with the curve point, select a point. Okay. Either this one I guess or this one, totally depends on you. Okay, and go in the curves and detach. Okay, from here now you have the four sides. You need to make sure that they have equal spans. Okay, it have three and it have three spans, so you don't need to again create these. Now going on to this one, applying it, this one, this one, and this one. So now you can see that it's not working. Basically the reason is, while you do it, okay, maybe you didn't focus that there is a gap. Okay, in the earlier ones we were selecting them, we were connecting those. Okay, here it was much harder for you to do so. So while you were creating it in a way, instead of cutting it, okay, let's say here you were creating this one. Okay, you put a curve point here and you cut it. Okay, let's say you didn't have this one, so we delete it here. From here, just check which is the starting point. Okay, so you press on curves, add points, and this value gets activated. But by pressing on C, you can drag it and make sure that it's connecting here on this one, because this one is activated. So while you press C, this one will be created. Okay, to make sure this one gets connected, just put a cut somewhere. Okay, because it's too near for us to add something. You make sure to go here and you detach this one. You select it, you delete it. But now when you edit it, you can see it's written something as U here. So it's your starting side. You were starting from here. And if you add any object, okay, you edit any object, it gets starting from that point. But you don't need this. You need to work it from this one. So by going in the curves, you make sure to reverse this direction. Now your U won't be visible here. It will be shifted to there. So that is the starting point. This is the end point. From here, your points will get edited. By going here and add points, you press and hold C and do this. Okay, so this is created as smooth as possible for us to create, and that connection is there. Now you can put those cuts by going the curve point, press on that cut. Okay, your curves detach. Similarly for this part, curve point, curves, detach. So you got this one with 3 spans, you got this one with 4 spans. Okay, so here either you increase this spans or this one, because in this setting you only work on trails. Okay, your rail ones, this is rail, this is rail, but these are not rail, so you need to change the spans separately. You go here, you select on curves, and you press on rebuild. Before rebuilding, you select how many number of spans you need. So you need 4, you apply it. Okay, close. Now this one has 4, this one have 4, so it's not an issue. This one have 16 and this one have 18. So here, before you decide how many divisions it will have, let's just first create this. Okay, in the surfaces, Birail, second one activated. Okay, it's done. But now before we decide how many divisions it will have, we need to see our other meshes, okay, in the wireframe mode. Because when you decide its divisions, it should be somewhere matching with the other ones also. So by again coming here, increasing the divisions, you make sure it have as many divisions as number of sides. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's getting much harder now. What we can see is 1 and 2, the edges get deducted, the edges points. So instead of 20, it left 18 by removing this point and this point in our counts. Okay, then we can remove this one also and this one, so it's left to 16. Then this one and this one is left to 14. So instead of creating 20, we have to create 14 for it to match to the similar number of divisions. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one will be connected to here or here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Maybe I was wrong. It should be 16. Okay, I guess it's fine now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, and 15, 16. Okay, so these are also contained in the divisions. I forgot that these will be also included as edges points. Okay, now that's done. Either we can rearrange them to be in the same division points as these ones, or they're fine as it is right now. We can increase the top divisions depending on our needs. Okay, after it's created, you simply go into the object view and you can see that yes, it's done. By going to the smooth view, something like a mouse is created. Okay, you need to make sure that your curves don't get selected, so just add them here, add selected objects. Okay, so it's not visible there now. Even in the smooth mode, you can see that these points are creating some kind of issue, right? So you fix them by going into the top view. It's not always that it's possible to fix this, but right now I don't think that's an issue. It's not that kind of model. So if you just move it something like this, okay, here it will be seen as it's getting out of the bounds, right? That's what I thought. So either we can just hold on to your control shift, or you can go here and you can turn this on. Okay, edge slide, your transform constant. The shortcut for this one is shift and control, and if you move it now, it will only move on to the edges. Okay, I guess that's fine. You fix this one also, because something that needs to be done now or later. Okay, it should be more onto the smooth curves, even if you don't want these to be included, it will be. So we straighten this up. Because of this view, we feel like it's curved, so it's totally straight, but it's look like that. Okay, but this one also we can move it to make it a little more straightened up. Okay, it's following proper divisions. Now what I need to do is I have to create these things. Okay, it's moved up from here, those edges, it's not visible right now. So what we do now is we simply, let's move this a little bit first to create those curve shape, because it's not allowing us to do so. Okay, now we need to put those divisions. What we can do is we can extrude them down, but instead of doing extruding, we can take the multi-cut tool here. Okay, and we can create those edges, but these are stopping us, these are adding those points here, but we can simply increase those points and we can do so. Okay, so there are a few ways to create so by doing manually, or you can click here, because you only need those things onto the edges. You make sure that it's onto an offset, right? You only needed these ones to be created. If you turn it off, they will be separated. Turn it off, they will create it as equal. You can increase or decrease the thickness. It totally depends on what you're trying to create. So I guess it will be much better for us to just select on its edges and extrude them down, because those things will easily be created if you do something like this. Just move them just a little bit so that it won't cause as any such issues. If we increase our this area, okay, so it will be spread it toward outside. From the top view we can fix this. See, from the top view we can move our points back. Okay, so to move our points back, we just need to click on our vertices and it's turned on, so remember it. If I move them, instead of going In that way it moves up, okay, to make it much more smoother. And from here we only need till here, okay, so that we create those height issues, it won't have any problem. These ones we need to raise them. We turn it off, we raise them up, okay, and similarly for these ones they will be following these. See, it's to their own points here, they don't need to be shifted up. Okay, those edges have been created, and by holding your control shift or turning this on, you move them just a little bit up, okay, something like this, so that your points can be made. Okay, just keep fixing your other points. Remove them up so that those issues won't be there. And this off, erase it, okay. Here we are just trying to fix this geometry so those uneven surfaces won't rise, okay, because these are straightly connected to these points, okay, and when you don't fix this they can cause some issues. Hmm. From the top view we're just trying to fix them somehow. Mhm. It's mostly done. If you see it in this way, smoothen is up. You can see those edges are made, but it's not as sharp because we need to bevel it. So we'll simply be doing your beveling part. Mm, mm, Now coming on to the edges, we need to sharpen these. We bevel it, increase the segment and sharpen it. Okay, so now if you see that these curves will be made, okay, and those clickable parts are done. Now you can either fix this one to make it smoother, but you can see even in the reference that this part was much more straighter, so we don't need to increase its height in that way, right? We just need to decrease it. Okay, now that's done. You can start creating a mirror. You select on this one. Okay, it's set to no, we can select it. You can delete this history first, so it won't be affected by the curve. And now mirror this one. Okay, just make sure these points are not getting connected. The merge threshold is too high. Decrease it. Okay, it will be fixed. Similarly for this one, there is history. Mirror it. Just make sure that its points are not getting stretched. Okay, and similarly for the top part, edit history and mirror it. Make sure it's not something like this one. Okay. So I guess it's done till here. Now we need to come on your top view. Okay. You will be looking at this model from the top part. Make sure other meshes are not clickable again now, because from top view we have to work on creating this one and this one. Okay, so before we do anything, we'll be getting to know about boolean a little bit. So what is boolean? Basically, boolean is a tool which we'll use to create a deduction or the gap of any shape from another object. Okay, here you will see boolean. There are a lot of type of booleans, but the ones we'll be using can be selected from here, boolean one. Okay, so to create this part, we'll be taking a cube. We'll be moving them on to its top and just making sure to resize it onto the edges. Okay, and simply by taking it into your isolation view and let's set it to perspective, we just need to click on its edges. Just turn off your soft selection. Okay, and bevel it. Okay, increase divisions as per the need. Okay, need it more circular, so just connect it. Increase the segments to something like 3, 4, 5. Okay, whatever it feels like is good, just do so. Okay, by going back here, come out of isolation view, you need to make sure that it crossovers with your model. Okay, here you can see that top view, this area is crossing, but this is not. So increase the length. Now it's so here you can see after it's done, you simply click on all of these and delete those ones. Okay, so from top view, you try to connect these in a way that it won't create that kind of an issue. Even the vertex mode, you connect as many shapes as possible. Okay, here I can see that didn't assign any to these one and to these ones. Okay, here instead of doing these kind of things, it can simply remove these edges. So the things I'm doing on this side, I want it to be followed here. So I'm turning on my symmetry. Okay, here I'll be working more focused on this one. Okay. So triangles can be made sometimes needing your requirement, but you try to create them as less as possible, but sometimes it's unavoidable. Here you can see quad is made. Here I can make those differently, but these are made for the supporting edges. Okay, from here we'll be extruding it, giving it thickness or an offset. Okay, while we give it some offset here, we need to make sure that its division is here, because here it will be in a gap. We go in a face mode, select this one and the whole circle and delete it. Okay, we select this one and we make sure that it's separated out from the whole model. Okay, now for this one, it's made. We fix its edges. Okay, so here we'll be working on the edges. Okay, this is done. This is done. And I guess it's finished for this one. It's like this and this, and we extrude it down roller z-axis. Okay, so when we smoothen it, it will be something like this, but we want your edges to be sharpened. So you bevel it, you increase the segment, you decrease the fraction value. So when you smoothen it out, it will be left as same. Similarly for this one, we can do it, but first we need to make sure it's hidden. Okay, so it's getting in our way. We select the mesh, we send it there, and for this part, okay, when we smoothen it, you can see that those circle is probably created. You have to create this cut. So for this one, either we can put a loop cut here, or this will be automatically created when we create something for this one. Okay, so simply select on this one, and for this one. Okay, now when you bevel it, you can see that there is a difference there. You can decrease its fraction, you can increase its point, okay, and you can delete the face inside it. When you smoothen this, it will be something like this. From here onwards, it's getting stretched too much. You can put some points, something like these ones. Okay, and now when you smoothen it, it will be something more round. You can control its point also by simply giving it an edge. We're gonna give it some edge. Instead of doing this, you can do something like this. Mm, Still getting stretched. Maybe we need somewhere else to be stretched. Yeah, so around here, but the point is we need to move it to make it a little more cozy. Now this seems more properly designed. We are on to our final paths. From here, from here, I need to select this, this, and this. Okay, and I need to extrude it to Z. Okay, but I also need to make sure that these paths, which I'm selecting right now, and so making them booleans. And when you fix it, okay, so something is created here while we were trying to extrude them. So for the thickness part, keep facing together can be a little hard things to do. Here, to solve this part, we can manually do it, or we basically don't have to do that much because this part is not that much heavy in reality. It's something like this. Okay, and I don't think this much have any of those issues which I was seeing earlier. See, let's fix this one. It's not allowing me to focus there, but we'll still try to do so. Hmm. So these are some issues which we face sometime, but it's not as hard to solve. It's just that it's much harder to see there because those areas are hard to select. Okay, so yes, it's done now. Now we finish this part. This part, this part, this part, and this part. Okay, you simply bevel it. Okay, and then there's something like this on the top one. And for the other parts, let's move on to this one. And while we are creating this, your every mesh part is created. You do the same thing, you go on its edge, you extrude them, you give them a local offset, and onto the edges, you bevel it. You give them at least two divisions. Increase these values to something around 0.18, 0.15, and then smoothen it. Okay, this part is also created. Similarly for this one, extrude, giving them some thickness like this. Again, beveling it in that is two division and decreasing the point of friction and smoothing them. Okay, so our mouse model is almost done. Just with this selecting or rolling middle mouse button which we have to create, we can go into the side view and we place it manually. See, the thing I told you in the starting, it's not always that the thing is shown properly. We need to make it ourselves. Okay, so due to the perspective, it looks much more bigger. Okay, and onto the real model, we also check it. See, the issue is while we were modeling this, we take everything from a perspective from our view. So it's not always that it matches. We have to make that sure by seeing it in our viewport and making it in that way. Let's just see how many number of divisions have. So it have 20. I guess it can work. We simply select all these ones because we have to create those grip ones which our fingers can feel. Let's just give it something like 40. The symmetry is on, but it's not working. I can see maybe it works on some different angle. Or is it? I don't know. I thought it was not working. Okay, it was not working. So simply press it off just in case you are selecting something behind it and you don't know. So from here, you select similar. Okay, so every similar lines it's selected. From here you can bevel it. Okay, you can decrease it fraction a little bit more. You can go into the face mode, select this face. Again you can go and select similar, and you can extrude them. And okay, need to press Ctrl to give it some proper value. And when you press 3, you can see that those grape-like things have been created and your mouse model is done. So everything which you see here, you can follow these and you can create the model. For the lower part, you can do one thing. Just go in the bottom, select this part. Just make sure that it's into your separate viewport mode. Okay, this is the bottom. You need to go on the edge once, bottom view, and you can simply start selecting the opposite edges to close these ones. Click and it gets closed. Similarly for this one, or we can do is you can select symmetry to turn it on. So whatever we do on this side can be selected, or we can start connecting these opposite ones. Okay, we bridge them. We need to divide them from the center, and now you see that every one of these have 4 sides, but the ones here needs to be fixed. Okay, you bridge them and it's done. So for your face selection, you select this one and you select, I guess I haven't closed this one yet. Maybe I didn't need to close this one. So do a bit. Okay, so you select this edge and this edge and you close this. Okay, so this is now created. Coming on to face mode, going here and selecting it here. You extrude it, give it a thickness or your offset. Okay, from here you need to hold on to the edges. So by pressing Edge, Control B, giving divisions and decreasing the fraction. Now smoothing up, your mouse is created. So here is finished. I hope you all understand how to create this one. You have taken really long time to create this. And everything here is modeled properly. Okay, you can see that every poly is not high and it's as detailed as it needs to be. Nothing extra is there. Just try to model the same however you can, and you can see those edges much more in the darker view by enabling your ambient occlusion. So thanks for watching, and our model is done.